managing worms is a lot more than just drenching. The most important thing is actually paddock management, and there's also quite a bit of importance set on diet as well. So something that we need to remember is that horses have co-evolved with worms for millions of years. Out of the 5,000 years that we have lived with horses, we have only been worming them for 50 of those years. But parasites are a natural part of the gut microbiome. A healthy adult horse will maintain a relationship with the worms in their gastrointestinal tract. One of the reasons where diet is important. If you feed your horse a really good diet and they have all of the protein and the fats and the energy and the nutrients they need, they can keep the worms under control and they don't get out of hand. And this is usually why horses that are in really poor condition, poor nutrition, not healthy, they will end up with worm burdens that cause problems because you aren't feeding the horse properly. So overall, don't panic if your horse has worms. Your horse is supposed to have worms, and it's your job to give the horse an environment to live in where it can manage its own worm burden. Worms live in the intestines, they shed eggs, the eggs pass out in the manure, the eggs hatch into larvae, they go through some developmental stages, the horse then eats them and gets reinfected. Only 10% of the worms on your property live in your horse. 90% of them are out there on the pasture. So when you deworm your horse, you're only killing off 10% of that worm population. Basically, the very best thing you could do is poo pickup. Proper paddock management is always going to be better than deworming alone. Harrow in hot, dry weather. Cross-grazing will help clean off larvae. So prevention is better than the cure. So it is always better to prevent a high larvae burden than having to try and manage it later on. Deworm those really high shedding horses, especially coming into the time of year when worms survive really well on pasture. So main takeaways from this is the diet will influence the microbiome, the bacteria and the worms will influence overall immunity and health. And when you deworm, you can upset that balance.